Chelsea fans, welcome back to your daily Chelsea news. In today's video, we have some very interesting reports. We have some conflicting reports about goalkeepers, Chelsea's goalkeeping solution, which we will talk about in detail because that's very interesting in itself, a potential problem between Strasbourg and Chelsea for European competitions next season, and a potential fix for that. We're also talking about Kendry Paez plans revealed for 25-26 season by Chelsea, which is just super exciting stuff. We also have an update on Nicholas Jackson ahead of the Spurs game. And before we get into the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content. We're on the road to 10K by the end of 2025. So kicking things off, we have a report from Court Offside which says Chelsea are considering a move for Roma goalie Mile Slavlar, I think that's how you pronounce his name, as they continue their quest to find a competent keeper. Now look, we know this goalkeeper solution needs to be sorted. We need a competent number one goalkeeper. Robert Sanchez is not the goalkeeper. He's not a Chelsea standard goalkeeper. Whoever in their right mind bought Robert Sanchez while he was currently, at the time, Brighton's third choice keeper needs to give their head a wobble. He is not Chelsea quality. He has the most errors leading to goals in the European top 5 leagues this season. He was benched last season by Georgi Petrovic. This season, he was benched by Jorgensen, yes, for a smaller stint. He cannot play Enzo Maresca's system of distributing from the back. He's not confident in doing so. He is a good shot stopper. I'm not denying that. He does make some good saves, but he loves a Superman punch. He loves flapping at the ball and throwing the ball in his own net. We need a new goalkeeper, and let's hope we've got some reports about, going out and securing a new number one. I don't know much about Mile Slavlar. I know that he's been at Roma for a couple years and the Roma fans absolutely adore him. So, that could be a potential option. Next up, we have a report from Football Insider that are saying that Chelsea are preparing a £40 million bid for Kelleher as they consider their plans for another summer of scattergun signings. Again, being linked with another goalkeeper. We were linked with Kelleher last summer. I think we were briefly in January. I think he'd be a good signing for Chelsea. Look at what he's done when he stepped in for Alisson this season for Liverpool. He's not been perfect, but he really did fill that hole of Alisson, being injured. That's a huge hole to fill. Kelleher did very, very well. He took his opportunity with both hands, and I do like him as a goalkeeper. Do I see him as Chelsea's number one? No, but I don't see Sanchez as number one, and he's better than Sanchez. So I suppose he would be Chelsea's number one. Me personally, I would go for someone like Georgi Petrovic. He has improved massively since being at Strasbourg this season. I personally wouldn't have loaned him out. I mean, it's proven that he has developed and improved. But last season, I think he was fantastic. When he came in, obviously he dropped Sanchez to the bench. He's a great shot stopper who can play out from the back. Yes, he does need to learn and develop that part of his game for sure. He's not known for distribution or having the ball at his feet, of course, but he's a good shot stopper, and he's very confident by, commanding his backline of where they need to be in walls, where they need to be defensively for corners and things. I know that Chelsea conceded the record amount of goals under Pochettino, and I feel like that was more of a team issue because it was very chaotic football, basketball games most weeks. Yes, Petrovic made a couple of errors, but they're nowhere near as many as Sanchez. And I think he did well to bench Sanchez for over half a season because Pochettino was like, Sanchez just isn't good enough. However, we do have a conflicting report from Matt Law, and he says that Chelsea are not currently expecting to sign a new first-team goalkeeper in the summer, although that could change if a tempting or unmissable opportunity arises. So what one is it? Are we signing a new goalkeeper, or are we back in the 9,000 goalkeepers that we signed last season? To be honest, I think it's going to be a mixture of the two. I think we're going to have Petrovic coming back from loan. Penders has been on loan. He's going to be coming back. We've got Jorgensen and Sanchez. There's the 4 main goalkeepers on the Chelsea books, and we need to decide who is actually going to be number 1 and number 2. Because this other thing as well is if Petrovic becomes number 1, who becomes our number 2? Does Sanchez become number 2, or does Jorgensen stay as number 2? And then is it Jorgensen and Petrovic that fight for that position? Or is it Sanchez and Penders and Jorgensen all fighting for number 2 and Petrovic is clear as number 1? We need to know what's going on. And if Chelsea do go out in the summer and sign a new number 1 goalkeeper, what happens to the rest of that pecking order? Because if we do sign any more goalkeepers, we're going to need to sell some. I think we've got like 8 or 9 on the books. Now, yes, a lot of them are young and they are going to go on loan for seasons to come. And, got a lot of potential, and we're hoping that they develop into absolute world-class goalkeepers. But for the ones that are at the club, in and around Cobham, and fighting for third, second, or first spot for Chelsea, we need to kind of understand, right, what's the plan? Are we going to go sign someone and knock everyone down a few pegs and then get rid of a couple? Or are we going to just stick with what we've got and basically create that pecking order based on who's improved the most over across the last season. Matt Law also reported that Chelsea plan a full assessment of goalkeepers as 2 contenders emerge for #1 spot. Jordi Petrovic and highly rated teenager Mike Penders will be given the chance to prove themselves this summer. This really excites me. This really excites me because a lot of Chelsea fans want Penders back at the club. We can see he's got loads of potential to be an unbelievable keeper in years to come. We want him in and around Cobham. And we love Petrovic. Petrovic was our #1 last season, and myself and a lot of other Chelsea fans didn't want him going out on loan. We didn't understand why that was. We signed Jorgensen. We then put Petrovic out on loan, and we're trusting Sanchez in between the sticks. It doesn't make any sense at all. So seeing Petrovic come back, I think he will be Chelsea's #1, and I think that Penders, Jorgensen and Sanchez will be fighting for the #2 spot, and I personally feel that it will be Petrovic is #1, Jorgensen is #2, and I think Penders comes in as 3 and fights Jorgensen for that #2 spot. We're going to have lots of competitions to play for. We've got the Club World Cup, in between the end of the season and the start of the new season. Barely any preseason, if any, because of that Club World Cup. Premier League football, European football, of whatever we end up qualifying for. I personally still feel we can qualify for the Champions League. Then we're going to have FA Cup, the League Cup. There's going to be plenty of competition for whoever's second and third string goalkeeper to fight for that position and showcase what they can do. But I believe that Petrovic will be the #1 keeper. Unless we go out and sign a goalkeeper, then I think that pecking order all of a sudden needs shuffling up again. Matt Law has also reported that Nicholas Jackson is on course to return for Thursday night's Premier League game against Tottenham Hotspur. And I am so excited to see Nicholas Jackson back. A lot of Chelsea fans hate him. I think the hate is forced. I think it's overhated for no reason. I think he's improved massively on last season, and we have missed him humongously since he's been injured. His link-up play, his hold-up play, the pressing that he provides, the runs that he makes, he's an absolute nuisance for defences when he's playing against anyone. He's just a nuisance. Yes, his finishing needs to improve. I personally feel like his finishing has improved on last season. Yes, he went through a bit of a slump where he was stuck on 9 goals for a while, couldn't finish his dinner. But last season he scored, I think it was 14 non-Premier League goals. And he missed a lot of chances, a lot of open goals. And this season already, the way he started it, yes, a lot were tap-ins, but he had some good strikes as well and good tidy finishes. He was converting more chances than he was missing. So it's already an improvement. He's still very young. Chelsea definitely need to go out and get a #9 this summer. I think Jackson is going to be good in rotation or even put on the left, with that position being in jeopardy for next season. We've not known what's going to happen with Sancho, and we don't know what's happening with Mudryk. His sample's been lost or never done. In the meantime, that left-hand side is in jeopardy. So I feel like Nicholas Jackson has a massive role to play. I'm super excited to see him come back and play against Tottenham. I feel like he's going to score on the night. It's been a long time since he's played in a Chelsea shirt because of his injury. I'm just excited to see him play. It's basically the Matt Law show today because he's also reported, should Chelsea and Strasbourg get in the same European competition, it's understood they have already done much of the background work in case that scenario plays out. And both clubs are confident it would not impact their long-term plans and goals. This is a bit of a sticky situation, right? Because this is a rule from UEFA. We saw it briefly brought up with Manchester United and their sister club with the Europa League rankings, and they were both allowed to play. I don't know how or why that happened, but it means that Chelsea have kind of taken a look at that. And then you've got Chelsea, you've got City and United that all have sister clubs that all play European football. I strongly believe that Chelsea can secure a Champions League position this season. I know a lot of people are like, we're going to finish 8th or 12th, or look at our run-in, we've been terrible to watch and play and we're not getting the results. I hear you, but I have a lot of faith, and we have a lot of first teamers coming back after this international break. And I think it's going to surprise us how many points we can pick up. However, for Chelsea's ownership and the board of directors to do the groundwork already in case this opportunity, this sort of problem arises, is very good news for Chelsea and Strasbourg as well. Yes, they're sister clubs, and I know that you can obviously buy and sell between them and loan between them, and I think that's what UEFA are basically saying. Like, it creates a monopoly between these clubs because you can essentially just switch your players throughout the season to give you the other team or one team over the other more of an advantage in a European competition. They don't like that. I totally get it. I totally back that rule. And I'm glad that Chelsea have done a lot of the groundwork, because that means that Strasbourg, I don't know where they are in the league. I've not really been following them other than player updates on the ones on loan like Santos and Petrovic. whatever they can qualify for. I'm hoping that Chelsea can qualify for a different competition, so it completely eradicates this issue anyway. And the last report is reported by 2 journalists, and I don't know how to pronounce their names. I don't want to butcher their names. I do apologise. But they have reported that Kendry Paez is not going on loan to Strasbourg. He will only train at the French club as part of a process of adapting to European football. The Ecuadorian is in Chelsea's plans for the Club World Cup, and this is amazing news. I previously said earlier on in the season that when Paez comes in, he'll more than likely be loaned out. We've got Esteval coming in as well. I just don't know over the two. Esteval looks like he's going to be staying. He's going to be more confident and, you know, already showcasing a lot of his talent. Paez also has as well. He's been in England for the last few months, been in and around Cobham and watching Chelsea games to kind of adapt to English football and just kind of understand how football is on this continent, really, of Europe. However, there were a lot of speculation he was going to get loaned out to Strasbourg, and I'm glad that we are keeping him at Stamford Bridge because I think he's going to play a massive part in the Club World Cup, a massive part of Chelsea's first team squad next season. With all the competitions we've got playing, we've got a very strong midfield. You've got Santos coming back, Asugo's just been signed, Caicedo, Fernandez. You've also got Palmer in there. You then got Paez. Esteval can play more centrally as well. It's a very stacked midfield, and we're going to need a lot of rotation. And I feel like Paez is going to get a lot of minutes. We're all super excited to see him play in a Chelsea shirt, and this just kind of confirms even more, like, he is here and he is staying, and we are going to see as much of him as possible in the 25-26 season. So that is today's Chelsea news. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on these stories down below in the comment section. I love having a conversation with you guys. Do you think that Chelsea and Strasbourg will both play in the European competitions if they qualify for the same competition next year? What is your solution to Chelsea's goalkeeping problems? Do we go out and buy a new number 1? Do we let the ones that we have come back from loan fight for that number 1 position? Would you have Petrovic? Would you have someone like Kelleher or Miles Sklar? Do you think Paez will have a massive impact on Chelsea's first team going into the Club World Cup and next season? Let me know your thoughts. I love having a conversation with you guys. And if you have watched this far to the end of the video, there will be a thumbnail that appears on the screen. So if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content, make sure you hit that thumbnail because you'll enjoy that video too.